Hi there, Sushmita here. Welcome to Start Study and Score, Class 11 Electronics, Part 14, Wheatstone Bridge, Applications and Limitation. Now, without wasting any more time, I would suggest you to please subscribe my video so that, and as well as my channel, so that you will keep notified whatever I am uploading. Again, it will be only limited to subscribed students, so do subscribe soon. Okay, when we are going to study this Wheatstone Bridge, I must say who first started it, right? So Wheatstone Bridge was first popularized by a scientist called, as in the name suggests, Wheatstone only, around in 1843, and he popularized it because it depends on. Now here what happens, it is a kind of arrangement of resistances or register, you can say, 3 known, okay, and 1 is unknown. So how do we know we need to know the unknown resistance by arranging it in a certain way so that whenever there is an imbalance, we can know where is it, and then also we can find out how the unknown resistance can be derived from these 3 known resistances. So how to do with, see, I am drawing here. First we do need a rhombus, okay. So first of all I will draw a rhombus. It would not be a great one, but I will help you to understand how to draw it, because it is very important. Whenever you are doing it, you must do it with a proper precision in your hand, so that you will be confident whenever you want to draw it, you can, right? So that's why I'm just erasing these parts. It will be easier to draw the resistances. I will show you which one is the known resistances, that I will be drawing in blue color, okay. This one, this is the known resistance, and this is another resistance, this is another, and the fourth one. Now I will name them accordingly so that it will be very helpful whenever I am going to evaluate what will be the voltage, EMF, current, whatever that is. I would able to conveniently name them, okay. So first of all I am drawing it here for the sake of all people watching there, so that you build a confidence and you can also draw it, okay. So this is a key here. The key will be named as, this is open key. Now this is open, so K1. This is E, only source of EMF you can see with a plus and minus sign. The resistances are named P, Q, R, S. And you can see I named the resistances not mandatorily in cyclic order, okay. Now I have named it in PQ, then I came down and RS. The current obviously will flow from this side along this side and here, then it will get obviously divided into this one and this one, right? Now I forgot to mention one another thing, which is the diagonal of the rhombus, where I am keeping a galvanometer with 0 deflection. Galvanometer is also a resistor which is used, galvanometer. Now it is also a resistor, okay. You must remember it is used to dictate a very low current, okay. So any leakage of current in the circuit, it will show. So if there is no leakage in the circuit, then it will show 0 deflection. There is a kind of arrow mark with a the scale in here. So it will, if it is deflecting this side or to the left, it will show. If there is 0 deflection, then the arrow mark will stay at 0 only. So this is a kind of a resistor, we can say, and it is denoted as G in the circuit diagram. There is of course another key here named K2, okay. So I'll be naming it as K2. I will also name the hands so that it will be properly emphasized. This is A terminal, this is B terminal, this is C terminal, this is D terminal. Okay. Now these are PQRS resistances. G is the galvanometer. Now I will show you what will be the name of the what will be the amount of current that is flowing through. This is very important to understand. Now here current is flowing I. Okay, this is also I. Till that point A, it is I. Now at A, it got divided into two parts. What that would be? One along AB, it is I1. Okay, and what left along AD? It will be going across AD. So if through AB it would be I1, then through AD it would be simply I minus I1, right? Isn't it? So I simply mentioned it as I minus I1. Now again I1 when coming to B, it will again divided into two parts. So again I am mentioning it, these two parts. So I1 getting divided into two parts at point B. So one is along BC. What it would be? It would be I1 minus Ig, and you know the current direction. As the current is only one electromotive force is there or battery is there, that is E, and the current flows from positive to negative, all will follow the same path and meet at point C. So in arm BC it would be I1 minus Ig, whereas the current, if there is any current flowing through BD, it would be Ig specified. I mentioned the current as Ig if there is any. Now you can, again I am telling there are four resistances PQ. You can see here PQRS along four arms of a square ABCD. A cell E is connected between 2 points A and C. Now a galvanometer is connected with resistance G along BD, which is the diagonal of the square. Now there are two keys, key 1 and key 2. Okay, when we close it, now I am going to close it. K1 and K2, I am going to close it. After closing K1 and K2, if I see that the galvanometer is still at 0, then there is no deflection, that means no leakage current, right? So if there is no leakage current, with all in place, all connected, K1, K2 connected, there is no deflection, that means this particular arrangement is called balanced, right? If there is no current through galvanometer, which is very sensitive to any kind of leakage current, then it would be called balanced. And this is the principle behind Wheatstone bridge. First of all, we should be able to understand what is a balanced Wheatstone bridge and the principle behind it, how the current is getting divided, and what is the use of this galvanometer. It is detecting any kind of leakage current along BD. If there is no, then it would be 0. You must remember, if it is in balanced form, Ig will always be 0. Okay, I must mention it here. Whenever the Wheatstone bridge is in balanced form, Ig will always be 0. Okay. If it is not, then you can verify yourself. After that, how to talk about it, how to deal with the situation, and how to know the unknown resistance. Now I kept this circuit diagram in place so that you can understand how when I am applying the Kirchhoff's law and voltage law. Now what we are going to apply here, there are two rules we studied, that those are KCL current law, KVL voltage law. Kelvin's current and voltage law we are going to apply because it is a complicated circuit, only Ohm's law will not work. Okay, so what was current law? it was about conservation of charge, and there was some sign convention I mentioned. If you don't remember, you can go to the previous, I have added it to the playlist, you can refer that. Now here for KVL, I will also show you how to equate the voltage across all the arms or mesh. Okay, so let's get started here. Now for applying current law, we will see that if the current is in clockwise direction, then it would be positive sign. So you can easily see what is in clockwise direction. Now I1 is in clockwise direction, that's why P will be positive. So first of all, my first equation is I1P is positive. Then after that, in this mesh, I'm considering this first mesh. So I'm just highlighting a little bit so that you will also understand this mesh I'm talking about. Okay, ABD. So in ABD mesh, there are no EMF sources, only current with resistances. I having clockwise direction, so it would be positive sign mentioned. Then the galvanometer is also in clockwise direction, that's why it would be plus IGG. I already said G is a resistor, so you need to write it in that way, referring to it as a resistor. Then after that, the AD arm, the current flowing in anti-clockwise direction, you can see. Okay, the current is flowing in anti-clockwise direction, that's why the negative sign will come, and I1 minus I1, it would be I minus I1 bracket with resistance R, isn't it? Because it was I here till A and it got divided into two parts. Through the arm AB it is I1 and through the arm AD it is I minus I1, right? So with our resistor we are calculating all the EMF or voltage sources here, which is equal to 0 because there is, in this mesh there is no EMF source extra attached, right? So this is equation number 1, and as long as this will be 0 as long as the Wheatstone bridge is balanced. Now in B, C, D mesh, so again I am going to highlight it in other color so that you will see how it comes. Let it take as this color. Okay, so this is this color, I'm highlighting this. So this is BCD mesh. Okay, so what it would be? It would be I1 minus IG along BC with Q as the resistance. This is positive because the current is flowing in clockwise direction. Now along this direction, this would be the current direction is what it would be? Can you say? This would be I minus IG minus along CD. Both CD and BD arm are in anti-clockwise direction. That's why for DC arm also I will take it as a minus sign with I minus I1 plus IG will be the current value multiplied with the resistance, which is S. Now again for this BD arm, the galvanometer showing no direction, it would be minus IG with G as a resistor equals to 0. In this mesh also there are no electromotive force attached extra. That's why I am writing it as 0. This is equation number 2. Okay. Now here you can see that along BC, what I did, that I divided I1 into two parts, which is one coming under BD, which is IG, and the left out part, that is I1 minus IG along BC. Then after that you can see the arrow direction is here, the arrow direction in CD arm is like this. Okay, why so? Because the current coming here at D point again it will again add to the G value, IG value, right? So that's why I minus I1 plus IG is getting into this value of current. I minus IG, I minus I1 from AD current, from AD arm the current, plus BD current in the arm BD, it would be IG. So I minus I1 plus IG will be the total. But as it was anti-clockwise current flowing, so that's why the negative sign, same with the galvanometer part. Now these two are the two equation. If you understood what does it mean, then you understood whole of the part. Now when it is balanced, the current IG will be always 0. So putting IG as 0 in both of the equation, we can find that we are assuming here the Wheatstone bridge is in balanced form, and that's why there is no deflection along the galvanometer. Okay, these are the consideration taken in here. So from these two equations we need to solve it so that we will be able to do the aftermath of it. So how we are going to solve it? First of all, we will write that if we are putting IG as 0, it would be I1P minus I minus I1 whole R equals to 0. Or I can say I1P equals to I minus I1 whole into R. Okay, so this is third equation. Next, I will again derive from the second equation, putting IG equals to 0. What I am getting? I am getting similarly I1Q minus I minus I1 whole into S equals to 0. You can see it for yourself. You may have taken a screenshot of first two equations. You can see wherever I put G, just left behind I1Q minus I minus I1 whole into S. Okay, in the second equation. Same in first equation, I1P plus minus I minus I1 whole into R. So this is solving up to this. So after solving, what we are getting is important. Implies I1Q equals to I minus I1 whole into S. Now there are again two equations we are getting. Now if this is the situation, if we are going to divide it, how we are going to divide it? We will divide equation 3 by equation 4. So what it would be? I1P by I1Q equals to I minus I1 whole into R divided by I minus I1 whole into S. This should be the equation. When we divide equation 3 by 4. Okay, so if this is it, I am going to cut all the same numerical values. So what I am getting here? Ultimately implies and implied by P by Q equals to R by S when the Wheatstone bridge is balanced. Okay, this is balanced formula for Wheatstone bridge or required condition for the bridge to be balanced. So if we don't know S, then we can find it out by putting the formula P by Q into 1 by R, isn't it? Or we don't know P, then we can simply multiply Q into R. QR divided by S will give you the P. So wherever you prefer to put the unknown resistance, the other values will definitely give the value of the unknown resistance if the galvanometer is balanced and showing no deflection. That is the principle and required condition for Wheatstone bridge principle. Now there is also many applications of Wheatstone principle which I like to share with you. Okay, it may so happen that we need to apply it somewhere where we need balance, right? where do we need to balance, or we want to show where we will reach the zero deflection on galvanometer. Okay, there are many equipments in precise form, and a galvanometer is very sensitive. So it acts as a parameter or calibration purpose, so that we can know that particular thing is calibrated or measured or balanced, right? Now, sometimes due to some temperature coefficient of resistors, as we have already discussed, or some ambient temperature difference due to temperature issues, or due to heating effect, or sometimes if it is prolonged use, then the galvanometer may not able to see the deflections which are over its resistances. Okay, so if it is used up too thoroughly, then it may happen that the galvanometer will not show any kind of deflection. First case. Second case, if the resistance, the current, leakage current is so low that the galvanometer cannot predict it. So if there is a too low current, leakage current, then also the galvanometer will not be able to sense it. Then also we can get an imbalanced or uncalibrated equipment. So it is advised to put in a way so that we can there is a range of resistance and temperature for which Wheatstone bridge can be used. There are too many applications for Wheatstone bridge, like slide wire bridge or meter bridge it is called, because the bridge is 1 meter long and there is a joystick which moves on and off through the 1 meter wooden board, and when the galvanometer is showing neutral, that means the bridge is in balanced form. There is also a post office box. Two applications was there, post office box, and it was before used to measure the resistance of telegram wires. Okay, now it is, I think it is obsolete, it is not being used. Same with the meter bridge also, that's why I am not discussing all those of them. So there are only two conditions. It has to be balanced. You can put anywhere you want to have the unknown resistance, and if you know all the three, then you can find the fourth one, provided the galvanometer is showing zero deflection. Okay, now this is it for Wheatstone bridge today. I hope you liked my video. Please do subscribe my channel to stay updated. Any comment or feedback or any kind of doubt is always welcome. Take care, have a good day, and also try to study.